The sun had barely risen over the rugged backbone of the Red Valley when Cole Maddox rode out, the cold morning wind brushing through the black mane of his horse. Cole had always been a loner, quiet, steady, known across the frontier for his sharp aim and sharper instincts. Folks believed he preferred the company of silence and open country more than the chatter of towns. And maybe that was true. But that morning, something felt different. A tension in the wind, a warning in the horses. Cole couldn't name it, but he could feel it. By late afternoon, Cole reached the edge of Lark Canyon, a place where cliffs twisted like ancient bones and coyotes sang their lonely songs. That's when he spotted something unusual. A riderless horse scrambling near the canyon rim, a saddle torn, blood on the reins. Cole's chest tightened. Something was wrong. He followed the tracks down the steep trail, dust rising around him, and then he saw her. A woman, Lara Hazley, unconscious, near the canyon wall. Her dress torn, her arm bruised, her breathing shallow. Her horse must have slipped, sending her tumbling down the rocks. Beside her, scattered belongings told, fragments of a story, a small journal, a silver locket, and a traveling satchel, too fine for a ranch hand. Cole knelt beside her, checking her pulse. Warm, alive. Relief hit him harder than he expected. Carefully, he lifted her into his arms. She was light, fragile, and yet something in her posture, something even in her unconsciousness, spoke of resilience. Cole brought her to his cabin, hidden deep in the Pinewood Hills. A place no outlaw or storm could reach. He tended to her wounds with careful hands, warming water over the fire, cleaning the cuts, bandaging her arm. For hours, he worked in silence, listening to the crackle of flames and the soft breaths of the stranger who had fallen into his life. When she finally woke, evening shadows stretched across the cabin floor. Her eyes, deep hazel, sharp despite pain, landed on him. Fear flickered in them at first. Then trust. Something about Cole's steady presence disarmed her. She tried to speak, but her voice came out barely a whisper. He gave her water, helped her sit, and slowly, a fragile connection began to form. Over the next days, as the storm outside thickened and the canyon winds howled, Ilara recovered in Cole's cabin. She told him her story, piece by piece, her guard falling like snow, melting under a spring sun. She was running from a man who wanted to control her inheritance, from a future she refused to accept, from danger wearing the mask of respectability. Cole understood running. He understood silent wounds even better. He shared just enough of his past for her to know he wasn't a man who judged, man who carried guilt over a brother he couldn't save, a man who believed fate had already taken what little warmth he once hoped for. But Ilara didn't shrink from his darkness, and he didn't shy from her strength. The connection between them's slow, warm, careful, grew like fire in the heart of winter. On the fifth night, while Cole was chopping wood behind the cabin, he sensed Eton, unfamiliar, quiet, the kind before danger strikes. 3 men rode into the clearing, hard-eyed, armed. They asked about a woman traveling alone, claimed they were escorting her back home. Cole didn't believe a word. The men left without searching the cabin, but their warning hung heavy in the air. They'd return, and next time they wouldn't be so polite. Inside, Ilara trembled not from fear, but from memory. The men worked for, the one she fled, the one who wanted her under his control, the one who would take everything she owned if she didn't return. Cole promised her safety, not with words, but with action. That night, rain tapped softly on the roof as Cole checked the locks and fed the fire. Ilara sat wrapped in a blanket, watching the flames dance. She told him she didn't want to run forever, that for the first time she felt like she belonged somewhere here, in the safety of his quiet world. Then Cole, who never believed his heart had room for anything more than survival, felt the walls he built start to crumble. They sat side by side, hands inches apart, and slowly her fingers brushed his. The touch was gentle, intentional, a promise neither spoke aloud. At sunrise, the outlaws returned. 5 this time, guns drawn, voices echoing across the clearing. Cole stepped out, alone. A quiet cowboy against armed men. But he wasn't alone, not in spirit. Ilara watched from the window, fear and faith bound tightly in her chest. The men demanded he hand her over. Cole didn't flinch. The showdown was swift. Dust rising beneath boots, gunfire cracking through trees. Cole moved with deadly precision, not to kill, but to protect. 2 men dropped, the others fled, terrified by the resolve of a man who fought not for pride, but for someone he cared for. When silence fell, Ilara ran to him, tears slipping down her face as she checked his shoulders, his hands, his breath. He touched her cheek gently, assuring her he was fine. And that moment, trembling, full of everything they'd held back, brought them closer than any words ever could. She chose the open sky. She chose freedom. She chose the quiet cowboy who had risked everything without asking anything in return. Cole offered her space on the ranch, first as a guest, then as a partner, then as something deeper. The more they worked side by side, the more their hearts entwined. She helped patch fences and tend horses. He showed her how to ride across the valley without fear. And each day, affection grew roots that neither storm nor danger could tear apart. Months later, they rode to the canyon, where Cole first found her. The wind was warm, the sky painted gold. Ilara looked down at the place. She nearly lost everything. Now, it was the place where she found something even greater. Freedom, and love steady, enduring, shaped by danger and destiny. Cole took her hand, his thumb brushing her knuckles, with silent devotion. They didn't need to speak to know what they felt. 2 souls, who once walked alone, had finally found home. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more Western stories under the open sky.